Hello and welcome to the second part of my video about MBT, the game of tank-to-tank combat on a tactical level in 1987 Germany. In the first part I told you a lot about basic rules because we are using only basic game rules for this video, not the advanced rules or optional rules, and we played turn 1. So now we are playing turn 2. And we are starting with spotting phase. We skipped this phase in the first turn because it wasn't very important there, but now we have to make sure if our tanks are seeing each other or not. For this purpose we are using a spotting ranges table. I think I might open a window a bit. So okay, let there be more light. And first we have to we'll be using only V column, which is for vehicle, and you can see that basic spotting range is 20. So our tanks can see each other from the 20 hexes range. But there is a lot of things that gives us some modifier. First, if a unit has a spot move, we are moving plus 2. So with the plus 2 we have 14 hexes range. So when unit moves, it's much easier to spot it. Same goes when it fires. We get plus 3 then. But when unit is in a small cover, we move -1. When it's medium cover, it's -2. When it's heavy cover, it's -3. The other things are not very important now because these are for advanced rules mostly. But when unit is damaged, there's something else is going on. But for now we can ignore most of this and focus only on this. How to determine cover? We have a terrain effects table, and we have kind of cover for each kind of terrain. So for example, if unit is in the woods, it is in the medium cover. If it's in the light woods, it has light cover, and so on when it comes to the kind of terrain. Sometimes a unit is completely invisible for the enemy because terrain blocks all the line of sight. For example, let's check these Soviet tanks here. No one can see them because there is a line of woods here, and the woods are blocking line of sight. So we can remove spot move. And next, I think the same thing goes to these American tanks, but I'm not sure if these Russians can see them. So I have to check if there is a line of sight between them, and you can see it moves through these buildings. Russians are here, but they are on the lower level. There are hills on the higher level that are blocking their line of sight, so they surely can see these American tanks as well. As for them, there is light woods here, and these are blocking their line of sight as well. So these Americans aren't visible for anyone, so I can remove spot counter as well. Same goes to this Russian tank. It's behind a hill, so no one can see them as well. And as for the other Russian tanks, these two stacks, well, I think these American tanks can see them, but I'm not sure if these woods are not blocking line of sight. Yes, they are blocking line of sight. So again, Americans and Russians can't see each other. But we have these tanks. And as for these tanks, we can clearly trace a line of sight between these two groups. So they can see each other. So that's where I'm leaving spot markers for them. And now for these Russian Americans that are here, I'm going to check if they can see or not. No, I don't think so, because there is there are woods on their line of sight, so they can't see each other. Also, they are in the woods, but they have spot move. So woods gives us our medium cover, so it would give us -2, and spot move gives us +2. So it's again 20 hexes, but because of the woods here, we don't care about it, and this marker is removed as well. And now here, this American tank can see these Russians, I think. Yes. Let's check. Because there is a grain here, but grain is grain is not blocking our line of sight. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 21, 20 sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So yes, they can see them. So I have to place the spot move here as well. This American tank can see them. Now this American tank here isn't visible for anyone. And finally this stack. And now this is quite a problematic. They are on the second level of high, because, sorry, third level, because they are here. And well, this stack is the only one that could see them, probably, but there's woods on their way, so no, they are not visible for Russians. So that's when it comes to the spotting phase. This can cause some problems for players. Spotting rules are, well, are taking a lot of place in the board to make sure that in the rule book, to make sure everything works, because it can be problematic, especially when it comes to the different heights. This is the major issue with spotting. So you have to make sure to check everything is correct. And I think it is something that you can master sooner or later. So next we have a command phase, and we have the same number of commands, because none of the sides lost any of their tanks. So Americans have 15 tanks and Russians have 13 tanks. So we are starting with Soviets, and Soviets have 6 plus 2, so they have 8 commands to give. So this should be enough for them. And now the question is, what kind of commands I am going to give. First, they will move. They will move as well, and they will move too. And now these two stacks here remain. I can give them fire commands or movement commands or short halt, that's my choice, or maybe even overwatch. Remember that I don't have to give the same order to entire stack. I can, for example, give, let's do it, 1 overwatch command for this tank, and for these two they will have fire command, while this group will move. So that's all when it comes to the Russian commands. And now Americans. I think I'll give an overwatch to them, movement to them. Oh, sorry, I should check the number of commands out that I have. 6 plus 3, so I have 9 commands. This is still a pretty big number, so I haven't any problems with my number of the commands at the beginning of the game. It gets problematic later. So I'm gonna to give short halt to this stack. Why? Because this is it is going to be a target for Russians, and when your tanks have move or short halt command, it is harder to hit them. It is harder for them to hit anything, yes, as well, but it still makes them a bit more harder to be hit. And now here, move, and move. So that's all when it comes to the commands, and now I have to check who's going to have an initiative in this turn. First Americans, 67, and now Russians, 50. So Americans have an initiative in this turn as well, and they will be firing first. They have one stack they can fire, that can fire, I mean this stack, because it has short halt command. Not all the other command units have movement order, and this stack here has overwatch command, so it will be able to fire when enemy units will be moving, none earlier. So that's all when it comes to the starting of the game. We are moving to the combat phase. And that's the moment where we have to check our tanks' sheets. We are starting with telling who's gonna fire on who. When you have a stack with one order, you have to choose one target for all of them, because when they share the same order, they have to fire on one target. They cannot fire on different targets. If I would like them to fire on different targets, I would have to give them different orders. So, for example, if I would like this tank to fire on one target and these two tanks firing on another target, I would have to give them one fire command and these two tanks another one fire command. So I have to choose one target for these three tanks, and I think this will be this enemy stack, because there is no obstacles on our way and they are going to fire on me also, because so that's quite obvious what I'm going to do. Next we have to determine range, because you can see, maybe I should zoom a bit. Oh, now this is perfect. You can see ranges for our gun and firepower on such a range. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 type of ranges. First it is point blank for 6 or less hexes. Next is short for 12 or less hexes. Next is a medium for 22 or less hexes. Next is long for 31 or less hexes. And next is extended on 37 or less hexes. As you can see, firepower of American gun goes smaller with each range. So this gun is most effective on point blank, and it gets weaker on short, medium, long and extended. So I have to check a range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So I'm firing on 17 range, so I will use medium, because it's smaller than 22 but bigger than 12. So I'm taking AP heat table. No, maybe I could not. Okay. And I'm checking medium column. The basic is 20, but there can be some modifiers, of course. First is target size. Our tanks has size here. Oh, sorry. Now, yes, it's here. For this is +1 for American M60, and this is 0 for Russian T-72, so I have 0 because I'm targeting T-72. Next is target moving. If target has movement or short halt command, we get -2. But target has fire command, so we don't have any modifier. Next are terrain modifiers for light, medium or heavy cover. Next is a short halt, and this is what is important for us because we have short halt command. So we have to check the value of our stabilizer. Stabilizer of the gun for M60 is 2. So we'll be using -2 modifier. So we're gonna move down from 15 to 1, 2 to 14. And next we have shooter damaged and brew up smoke. All the other things are not important. Most of these things are for advanced rules only, so we can ignore them. For example, there is only for Overwatch, but we are not overwatching here. But as for now, that's all. So we have 14. We have to roll 14 or less to score a hit on Russian tanks. We have 3 tanks. We have 3 American tanks here. So I'm gonna make a roll for first of them. 28. So it is a hit. I scored a hit on the Russian tank, and now I have to check what it means. My tank has a firepower of 86 on medium range, and now I have to check a value of the Russian armor. In the advanced levels you would use all these values here, but in the basic rules we are going to use only here, this one. Armor 85-26, so we have 85 on front and side and 26 on the back. So Russian tank has 85 value, and my gun has 86 of power. So I scored a hit and I actually managed to penetrate enemy armor. So, if the difference between firepower and armor is from 1 to 3, the target is damaged. If this difference is between 4 and 9, the target is KO'd, and if there is 10 or more, the target is brew up. We have firepower of 86 against armor of 85, so we managed to damage enemy tank. So this tank gets damage counter. In the basic rules, this is not something important to remember how this damage counter is placed, but in the advanced rules this is very important, because you can see there are different kinds of damage like radar, turret, ATGM, SM, hull, and so. But for now we just place damage counter, and this means that this tank is damaged. So that was our first fire. Next we are going to fire with our second tank. Again we are hitting on 40 or less. This is 36, so it's good. We scored a second hit, and this tank gets another hit, and it is again damaged. When the tank is damaged for a second time, it is eliminated. So we are removing this tank counter from the game and place KO counter here below them. So this is good. And next we have our tilt fire, and now it is 95, so it is a miss, because 95 is higher than 40. So I'm going to flip this counter on the spot fire now. So they fired, so it will be easier for enemy to see them, and this shot halt from fire to move. So this means they already fired, but they still will be able to move in their turn. Now Russians can fire back, but you can see they lost one of their tanks with a fire command, so they have only one tank with fire command. So they are going to fire on these Americans to get their revenge, to avenge their fallen Ivan comrades. And now let's take Russian table. The range is same, so it will be medium. You can already see that American tanks have better range, because they are medium at 22, while Russians are medium R20. So we have still medium range, but Russians are not moving, which is good, because it will be easier for them to hit, but enemy is moving, because they have short halt movement. So we will have -2 as well. So we have but first we have to check enemy size. American M60 has size of 1. So we'll start with 50 as medium. We're going up 1 because of the target size, +1, and then down 2 because target is moving. So we have 45. So Russians are firing on the American tank and they hit on 45 or less. But they failed. It is 90, so they missed. Sorry, but still I'm flipping this counter on fire side. And that's all when it comes to the combat phase for now. Americans managed to eliminate one Soviet tank while Soviets failed to do so. So we can move to the movement phase. But before I will start moving, I will make one thing. This tank already fired, it has its command flipped, and I will place this one up because it has Overwatch fires command, so it might still be used. So to remember about it, I'm going to put it above. Okay, next we have a movement phase, and Russians are moving first because this is Americans have initiative. So let's start with Russians, or Soviets, as you like. Well, technically they are Soviets. We don't know if they are Russians, Belarusians, Ukrainians, or so. Okay, so first this stack. This is going to move in the woods, so I have to check how many movement points they will need to spend to enter woods. 3. They have to spend 3 movement points to enter woods, and normally, if we would use advanced rules, they would have to make a bog check. To make a bog check, you have to check your terrain effect table. For example, we have woods, and we have to make a roll. If we would roll something between 1 or 20, our unit is bogged, so it stops and it cannot move any further. This is part of advanced rules, so I'm not going to use it now, but this is quite a cool rule, and this is something that you should use in most of your games, even if you don't use all the advanced rules, all the optional rules, because it is something that makes a game much more interesting. So they spent 3 movement points here, and they can move further if they want to, but I'm not going to do so. I'm giving them spot move, because now they are, when they are in the woods, they have some cover, so it makes them harder to hit. Okay, next, this stack, it moves here, on the top of this hill, so it still has spot move, and now it has a better view on the entire battlefield. Next, this command tank, it moves here, and I'm going to check if I have all my Russian tanks in my range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It is alright. I have them all in my command range, and they gain spot move as well. And now this stack moves next. They are on the road, but they are going to move with not clear terrain, so they are going to have 7 movement points now. 1, 2, 3, 4, and now, when they are here, these Americans may try to fire on them. So I'm gonna mark them with 4, since they spent 4 movement points so far, and now I have to check if they can see them. I think they can, yes. They can see them quite easily. So I can use my Overwatch fire to give these Russians a hell. Of course, if I will be lucky. So let's count hexes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we are in the range of 12. So we'll be able to use short range of fire. And now, okay, this should be fine. And now we have to check AP hit modifiers. We are firing with, oh, this could be good. We are firing on short, so we have 70. our target is moving, so we can move -2 to 56, and now we are using overwatch fire, so it gives us a -1. So we move another -1 to 49. So we'll be hitting our targets on 49 or less. So we have 3 American tanks here. So first tank, it is 13, so it hit. It hit the target, and now I have to check where they hit it. Because, yes, it is front hit. So Americans have 96 on the short range, and Russian armor is 85. So it is 11. And because it is higher than 10, Russian tank is blew up. Kaboom! It goes in flames. The second American tank fires next. 51, it is a miss. And third tank, 97, it is a miss. So they managed to burn 1 Russian tank. In the full game, in the advanced rules, it could cause more issues for Russians, because the other crews of the 2 other tanks might be shocked or scared of what happened to this, and they might even escape from their machines, but not in the basic rules. So we spent 4 movement points, so we have still 3. So I move here, 5 and 7. So my 2 tanks are here now. They are in the light woods, which provides them some cover. And this tank was here, I think. Or here? Oh my, I'm not sure. Yes, here. It was here. And it will now cause some smoke coming from this hex, and it will be obstacle for any of the fire lanes. And now I'm gonna flip this movement counter. Okay, and that's all when it comes to the Russian movement phase. It's a Russian movement, and now we are going to make Americans move. First, what I'm going to do is to move this command tank, but I'm not sure if I'm going to move it. I give him a movement command, because even if it doesn't move, it still it's still moving. It may sound odd, but it is important, because if any of the enemy tanks would try to hit it, it would gain negative modifier because of firing on moving tank. Even if it stays on this hex and it's not going to move in this turn, it's still considered as moving, and it still gets movement move spot. So I'm going to let it stay here and do nothing more. Next, my tanks here. They have short halt command, and because of that they can only spend half of their movement points rounded down. So they have 5 movement points rounded down, halved and rounded down, it will be 2. So 1, 2. And now, when they are moving, these Russians might fire on them because they have overwatch fire. Let's see if they can see them. Yes, this is no problem. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we have 15 range. And as for 15, it will be medium. And as for, so it will be 50 as a base fire roll. And now we have +1 of the target size, so we move to 55. Now target moving, so we move 2 down to 45, and overwatch fire gives us -1, so it is 40. So Soviets are hitting on 40s. They scored a hit. They scored a hit, and their firepower on the medium is 86, while American armor is pretty weak because it's only 48. So American tank is hit and burnt down to the ground. Kaboom! Again. but this time for Americans. Okay. Okay, and the other American tanks that are here. First I'm going to move this command tank. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is quite safe because there's woods all around, so it can it can do what it likes. Next, this tank. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's all because it already spent enough movement points, so it cannot enter these woods. Oh, and I forgot again, as you can probably see, my spot move counters, and this tank that that made Overwatch fire gets a spot fire because it fired. And now the last one stack. Yes, oh sorry. Me bad, I forgot about one thing. My plan was to give them 2 movement commands. Why? You will soon see. First, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So they are... oh, I'm not sure if I moved too far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, that's not what I wanted. So let them be here. So, and now this tank is going to first spot counter. 1, 2, and it's about to occupy this fort, because there are victory points for forts as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this fort is captured by Americans. And that's all when it comes to the movement phase. Yes, I moved all my American tanks and all the Soviet tanks before. So this concludes turn 2 of the game. So let's start turn 3. We are starting with spotting phase, and now these tanks are clearly invisible for anyone because they are all surrounded by the buildings, and the buildings provide excellent cover. Now this tank, I think it is not visible for enemy as well, but I'm going to check if this... yeah, yes, they can see them. They can see them, so no, it has spot. And now they don't have spot because woods provide them some cover. As for them, I think as well they no one can see them. Yes, woods protect them from being seen by the enemy. Everyone can see these two. And here I think they can see, no, there is a hill here, so no, they can't see them, but I'm not sure if this group can see them. Gonna check. Yes, they can see them because there is a crops, and crops is not a problem when it comes to the spotting. Okay, and now here they can see, no, they can't be seen because there is a light woods, but these guys can see them. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So there is a 20 hexes range of spotting. They are in the light. They are in the woods, so they have -2, but they have spot fire, so it gives them +3, so they are seen. And as for Russians, I think, okay, this tank is not visible, not seen by anyone. This, yes, they can see each other quite easily. So I'm gonna keep their spot move. These guys, they are on the top of the hill, so they can see a lot, but they are seen by most of the enemies. And now these guys, they are in the woods, but they have spot move. So I'm going to check if they can. Yes, I think they can see them with ease. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 24. 12, 13, 14. Yes, of course. So that's all when it comes to the spotting phase. And next we are moving to the command phase. And as for command phase, now things are going to be to change a bit, because some of the tanks were eliminated. Russians had 13 tanks at the beginning of the game, but they lost 2 in the last turn, so they have 11 tanks now. So we're going to have to check their available commands number. They have 13, 11, so they have 10, so there is a 6, and plus 1 is 0. So they have 6 commands now. And gonna give them some commands now. I think these guys will fire, and this guy, oh sorry, I forgot to remove this this fire counter, and these guys will move a bit. This command tank will move. These dudes will overwatch, and these guys will move. So that's all when it comes to Russians. And now Americans. What about Americans? Going to give overwatch to them. Oh sorry, I forgot to count a number of commands. Americans lost 1 tank, so they have 14 tanks on the board. So I have 10, this is 6, plus 4, it is 8. It is 2, so I have 8 commands for them. This is pretty good, this should be enough. Starting with overwatch here, move here, short halt here, move here, and now the other part of the board, move here, and move here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's all right. Okay, that's all when it comes to the commands. And now I'm going to check who will have an initiative. Americans 80. Wow, they are lucky. And Russians 0-1. Wow, that's pretty bad. Americans still have an initiative. So we are going to resolve combat phase first. Americans are here, and they are firing on these 2 Russian tanks. This is going to be harder because they have short halt, and Russians are in the woods. But we will see, maybe they will be lucky enough to score some hits on these Ivans. So let's check it out. Americans are firing from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hexes range. So they have short. Maybe I can zoom a bit, yes, okay. So they have short. And now let's add some modifiers. First, now this is going to be harder for Americans. First, we have short halt with stabilizers number of 2. So we have -2 in the short, so we have 56. Next, we have a smoke on the hex that we are firing from, and smoke give us -2. So we move another -2, so it's 42. And enemy is light cover because there is light woods, so we have another -1. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. So we have 35. This is going to be hard. We are hitting our enemies on 35. So I have 2 tanks here. So first of them, it's 0-1. It scored hit perfectly. perfectly, and on the short halt they are hitting on 96, and Russian armor is 85, so Russian tank is blew up. Burn, 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 and flames getting higher. Okay, and the other American tank. Wow! Have to say that they are extremely lucky. 22, so the other Russian tank is burnt. Okay, that was great shooting action. I think they deserve some medals. And now we can still fire with our Ruskis, and as we call them in Poland, Ruskie. Okay, and now these guys may fire. This is not going to be easy, I think, because they both have short halt. So let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 hexes range. So this is going to be hard. We have 13 hexes, so for Russians it's going to be medium. And we have +1 because of the target size, so we have +1, 55. -2 because of the target moving. Next, -3 because Russians have short halt and the stabilizers is 3. 1, 2, 3. And -2 because there is a smoke on the target hex. 1, 2. So they hit on 20. There are 2 Russian tanks and they both hit on 20. Oh, sorry. I'm going to make this roll again. 77, it is a miss, and the other one hit 09. It's a hit. So it wasn't very. It was hard to hit, but Russians managed to do so. One American tank is burned because Russians are hitting on the medium with 86, and American armor is 48. So that's not bad for Russians. They still managed to score some hits despite a very complicated and hard situation. So they managed to avenge their fallen comrades here. Okay, that's all when it comes to the Russian combat phase. So, sorry, for the combat phase for both sides. So let's move our units. Americans have an initiative, so Russians are moving first. So what about our Russians? We have to remember about our command unit, which is here. So it has to keep a distance with its units. So first here, these two have short halt, so they can move half of their movement points rounded down. So they have 7, so it will be 3. So 1, 2, 3. They are moving here. No one can fire on them? Yes, no one. So they have spot move. Okay, who is going to be next? I think this command unit have to make some movement or not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if this unit would move anywhere, it would be out of range of my command unit. So it has. So I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to hide under this hill, so I will be safe, I think, and my command range will be better for this wing. As for this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they are still in command, so that's fine. And now they. What about them? So they are good because they are good in this forest because they provide them some extra cover, but they can't do much. Well, these Americans are hidden under behind these buildings, so I think I would like to move there to meet them in the combat, but it will be hard. So I'm moving out of these woods, so 1, and now when they are out, I have to check if this okay. Oh yes, now you can see these Americans have Overwatch. They are very far from Russians. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 hexes range, but they still try to fire. This is not going to be easy, but maybe they will manage to score a hit, or 2, or 3. We will see. First we have to check. It was 18. So we are firing on the medium range. Enemy is moving, and we are firing with Overwatch. So let's check modifiers. We are firing with medium, so we have 50, and we have -2 because of the enemy moving, it is 40, and -1 because of the Overwatch fire, so it's 35. So we will hit them on 35, and I have 3 American tanks here in the woods. So first hit 26. So it is a hit. Wow, that's good. But Americans have a firepower of 86 on the medium, and the Russian fire armor is 85. So it is a damage on one of the Russian tanks. I always mark the one that is above. And next, the second hit is 50. It is a miss, and the third, it is 92, so it is a miss. So Americans scored 1 damage on Russians. This is not a very good, but well, this is it is better than nothing. So let's move to these Russians again. And when a tank is damaged, it can use only a half of its movement points. So it has 7, so it can spend 3, and it already spent 1. So 1, 2. It moves here, and they have to stop because they share 1 comment, so they cannot move any further. So that's all when it comes to Russians, and they have spot move, of course. And now well, let's move to Americans. How about Americans? First I'm going to move this American command tank a bit. 1, 2, 3. That's all. And they fired with Overwatch, and now them. There is only 1 tank here because I already lost 2. So it has short heart, so it can move 2 hexes. 1, 2. And now I have to check if Russians can fire on them, because this Russian stack has Overwatch fire. They are on the level 3, because this is level 0, this is level 1, this is level 2, and this is level 3, but there is a light woods here. And I have to check how high are light woods. According to the terrain effects table, in the high column, light woods have level of 3. So they are on the same level as this unit, so they are blocking line of sight. So this tank is safe, it cannot be hit. And next here, they are going to enter these woods, and to enter woods they have to spend 3 movement points. So they are moving here, and they cannot move any further because they already spent 3 movement points, and they have 5. So they are going to stay here, and they get spot move. This command tank moves 1, 2 forward, and it also gains spot move, but its goal is to keep its unit in the range of command. And finally, the 2 stacks that the 2 units that we have on the northern part of the board. First, this tank. It moves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it gets spot move. And now this stack. And they are, well, they have a dilemma what they are going to do. I think I will make them move I think I made a mistake, because I should give them two move commands, so they would be able to encircle this Russian stack, but they cannot do it now. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's all. That's all they can do. And this is everything that... oh, sorry, I forgot to give them spot move. Okay, that's all. This concludes turn 3 of the game. As you can see, something changed. Russians lost 4 of their tanks, Americans lost 2 of their tanks. Also, there is 1 damaged tank on the board. Americans are keeping 2 victory points, 2 victory locations, this bridge and the fort. So they are in the better situation. So Russians have to advance more aggressively if they want to win. But that's the end for this part of the video. Thank you for watching, and see you in the part 3.